Hey guys, JJ Racaza here on the range with Tactical Hyve. Today we're going to talk about the hips and how the hips should align when you're moving from position to position. The hips should be oriented according to the distance of the movement. If I have to move a longer way, I have to manipulate my hips a little bit differently than when the movement is very short and narrow. A lot of that is just basically efficiency. So by the time I get in position, I'm already set, ready to shoot. So for example, here I have two sticks. I'm going to basically move from one stick to the next. This is about a 2-yard distance. 1, 2. So whether I'm moving left to right, the first placement of my hips, the way the positioning is, I'm going to keep my hips closed, meaning close to the area where I'm going. I'm going right to left in this manner. Opening them would be wide open when I'm facing the hips over there. Muted hips would be half open, half closed, and this is when my hips are completely closed. So I'm gonna keep my hips closed when I'm moving in a short distance, meaning when I move in the position, basically all I'll do is do a shuffle step and then come into position with my hips already exposed, lined up to the target. Right? So the biggest thing about this is being able to be one unit by the time I get in position. My hips are already oriented to the target, and so by the time I enter the position, I'm already locked in as one unit. By the time I come into position, I can then shoot as soon as I'm in position. By keeping my hips lined up and locked will allow me to establish a really good shooting platform as soon as I get in the position. If I, for some reason, will break that hips where my hips are now facing one way, upper body's facing the other way, by the time I enter in position, I'll have to fix all of that and become one unit while I'm in position, delaying my ability to shoot sooner. And if I did shoot sooner, I will shoot with a crappier sight picture. Now we're gonna explain when we get wider here in regards to movement. All right guys, now I've set up the sticks a little bit wider. Now they're probably about 3 to 4 yards apart. 1, 2, and 3, so slightly wider. So now we're gonna talk about the muted hips, where I'm gonna open it a little bit to be able to move my feet. The reason between the hips, closed, muted, and wide open is basically the ability to move my legs up and down. The more the distance, the more I want to wide open and face the entire direction so I can do my butt kick and knee ups and move my legs really fast, because then now I have some speed to cover. With this kind of weird distance, it's kind of in between, whether long or short, it's kind of in between. There's such a thing where I can still manipulate my feet fast, but keep my hips muted, which is half closed, half open. So if I'm moving left to right now, you will see when I move from position to position, now my hips will slightly open and slightly stay closed so that I can immediately set my hips and be one unit as I come into the position. Again, moving right to left, you can see that my hips is staying half open, half closed, not fully open, not fully closed. It is somewhere in between. So by the time I come in position, I can immediately lock in my hips as one unit. So when I enter in position, allowing me to be able to shoot an efficient shooting style, allowing me to be able to save time and be accurate all at the same time. Next thing, we're gonna try to separate this a little bit longer and show you guys the full speed of what and why I'm gonna do it with an open hips. All right guys, now I've set up the sticks really wide, and this is about 5 yards apart, and that's about the sweet spot where I can now fully open my hips and actually go to a full run. And just before, what you're gonna see, just before I get in position, you're gonna start seeing me start closing my hips and start orienting myself to the target. So by the time I'm in position to shoot, I'm already locked in as one position. We're actually gonna do this live so you can see how it would look like at full speed. All right, I'm gonna load and make ready. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna fire 2 rounds here, run there as hard as I could, settle my entry, and fire an additional 2 rounds. Here we go. And that's basically what I do as I'm running wide. I basically open up the entire hips as I run to be able to open up my movement from my legs. And just before I entered, started settling my hips, orienting the hips. So by the time I get in position, I am one unit ready to shoot as soon as possible, or as soon as I see a good sight picture on target. Thanks again for having me. If you guys have any questions, comments, or anything, please comment them below, and we'll see you guys on the next one.